right, guys. Let that one loop a little too far. Wasn't paying attention. But welcome to a live stream for Formers Friday. This is something I've been trying to put together for a long time, and I'm hoping that this works out right, because I've come up with a different way of doing a live stream. I'm not just ripping open the box and playing with it for the first time. What I actually have here is I pre-recorded some stuff, and I've got it ready to go. We're going to do live, but I do have the chat window open on YouTube. So if you guys here on YouTube, you want to leave a message, you want to say something, go ahead and leave that there, because I'll be keeping an eye on that. But today we are looking at Evolution Optimus Prime. Now this is the version where the chest part actually pops out, becomes Orion Pax, and then you can convert Orion Pax into the cab, and this body of Optimus Prime actually becomes the trailer, and then you've got your old school Optimus Prime as well. So you've got this giant Optimus Prime. You can make him Orion Pax. You can also turn him into the cab and trailer. So this is going to be awesome. Stephen Brick, AFOL. Hey, Doug. Hey, how's it going? Oh, I forgot my hat. I'm not wearing a hat. You can see my bald spot. I forgot to put a hat on. Uh-oh. I got to hide that. Oh, well. For the gamers, ask what's your favorite Transformer. Normally I'd be lame and say G1 Optimus Prime. But, actually Soundwave. G1 Soundwave, the original Soundwave. I got that. Oh, man, what birthday was it? Like my 10th birthday? 8th birthday? I don't remember when I got it as a present, and just became one of my favorites of all time. But, so, actually looking at this Optimus Prime, the Evolution Optimus Prime, the big guy looks kind of like a Masterpiece Prime. And then when you put him into the full tractor trailer semi, it looks like the G1 Optimus Prime. Now, one of the key things about this is from the Powers of Prime's line. And so you can see here, he does come with the Matrix of Leadership. And we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a minute. But that Matrix of Leadership piece, the orange piece that you see there, can actually pop out and be replaced by one of the other guys. You can also, if you want to be super creepy, you can replace it with one of the headmasters. So you can have a face looking at you from the Matrix of Leadership, but we won't get into that. If you look at the back of the box here, you can see it just shows you some of the information. It shows you how you can take some of these other Power the Prime, Power Core pieces and trade them in and out. It also shows you that you've got the Prime, the Orion Pax, how it becomes the armor, all of that kind of stuff. And then on the back here, it shows you that you do have the cab and the full trailer. 33 steps to turn it into the trailer. 15 to turn just the cab into Orion Pax that you can see up there. So we do have another one that we'll talk about next week, but I don't want to get into that quite yet. But I do want to take a look here. When you put Prime together, it is roughly the size of Masterpiece. So it is kind of a cheaper option for those of you that have wanted a Masterpiece Prime, but maybe you didn't want to spend the big bucks on it. This is a cheaper one, usually about $45, $50, somewhere in there. You can sometimes find it cheaper, of course, on eBay or Amazon if you keep your eye out for that. But if we take a look here at Prime, you can see that he does look pretty good. Straight on, you can definitely tell it's obviously an Optimus Prime. You can see there's some little quirks like the gray line going across his chest right underneath his pecs there. It's a little weird looking. And he does have these big chunks of armor on his body. And that's because it becomes the cab. It's like that, what was it, Sunrise Convoy? I forget what his name was, but the one that had the big suit of armor that he would power up and get into. It kind of looks like that. But then in the back, because of Orion Pax, it looks a little goofy back there. He's got this big blue backpack because those are the legs of Orion Pax. And you can actually see the hands kind of hidden back there, which is weird. So, yeah, it's a little big, little clunky, but, overall it's pretty good. It's not bad. And, it does have posability to it, so you can do some stuff with it. You're not stuck with it just being plain. So it does look pretty good overall. The main thing here, though, in his chest, you can see that they have this like circuitry stuff on the windshield, which is a little weird, but that's to hide the fact that behind that windshield is another windshield. Yeah, that's actually from Orion Pax because he turns into the cab. So you have to open the windows to find the windows looking at you. And then you open those windows, and there is the Matrix. Now, of course, the Masterpiece Matrix is a nice metal piece. This is a plastic. It is cheaper. It does have that power core that pops out of there. And it is very difficult to pop that thing in and out. Yeah, you can drop it in there, but if you just drop it in, it doesn't come out very well. So I was trying to pull Orion Pax off here so I could get a better grip on that Matrix, and it's so hard to get out. Mine doesn't just pop right out right away. You see there's this little release on his butt, and you're supposed to pull it down, and it just slides right out. And I know you're thinking it's because the doors are open, but it's not really because the doors are open. When I close the doors here, I'm actually going to push on it in order to get it to pop out through there, and that's how I was able to get it out. So you have that armor shell that drops away, and then there is the Matrix inside. But even then, I can't really reach in and pull it out. I don't have fingernails, so I have to open the back here, slide everything apart in order to pop out that Matrix. And getting it in is just as difficult, trying to get it perfectly aligned to try to set it in there. It's pretty deep in there, and you have to line it up just right. You can't just like drop it in. There is absolutely no give. There is no room for error. It has to line up exactly, which is tough. And with my giant fat sausage fingers, it's really tough to do that. But once I do pop the Matrix out here, you can see that the middle part is one of these power cores. And it just pops out. It does not fold out into anything. It does not become a little robot. It does not do anything else. It is just for the middle of the Matrix. But it's still kind of cool. And some of those other power core guys, you can put the power of the Matrix in there. That's kind of a neat idea to do it. So yeah, you've got that cool. So then we'll pop out Orion Pax. So you can take a look here at Orion Pax. I'm not sure why his chest looks like the taillights on a Dodge Charger, but there it is nonetheless. And you can see, he looks pretty decent. I wasn't really sure if I was, blown away by it when I first saw it. I mean, it is a pretty good look, pretty accurate, as far as the character, the way he's shown up in the comics and stuff before he was Optimus Prime, that he was this much smaller, much more mild, type of Autobot. And you can see the gun in his hands. The gun pulls apart to make these two guns, and it looks a little weird. He has these scrawny little arms, and I noticed after I filmed this, I actually have the arms on kind of backwards. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But you can see that gun. It looks like it's shooting tennis balls or something. Like, it is gigantic with that piece on the back. It does not fit his tiny little body and his scrawny little chicken arms. It just looks so weird on him. I don't know. There's something about those arms. And yeah, they are backwards. But you can see the chest piece back here. There we have that chest of the giant Optimus Prime and the back of the cab for Optimus Prime. So he does look weird. The arms at the elbow, they do flip backwards, and then you twist them around. So I actually have the forearms are actually upside down. So if you can imagine folding them straight back and then flipping them around. But here you can see the cab inside the cab, the Inception cab, on the back of Orion Pax. It's weird. It's not terrible, I mean, obviously, you're going to be looking at them usually straight on. But here's another weird thing. On the back of his head, there's this hole. And it looks like the gun fits there. And it's actually from when you attach the tractor trailer as the cab. But it does look weird in robot mode. It looks like you're supposed to use that as an extra storage spot. And that's weird, funky looking. But nonetheless. All right, so we transform him into the cab. So this is him as the cab. It doesn't look too bad at first. I mean, it is kind of weird, the gray parts right underneath the windshield there. Usually they're stripes, and here they're holes because of the way everything pegs. You can see the round joints on the side where things flip out. Just a little kind of funky looking. But on the back here, it's the arms of Orion Pax that are really weird. The way they stand out in that spot. It's just really awkward looking. The cab overall, when you're looking at it straight on, looks fine. But when you're looking at some of these back parts and some of these extra pieces, it's just so awkward looking. Now, it does roll. It does look, as far as that goes, it plays fine. But just funky. And you see the matrix of leadership is driving. So that's cool. Now, you put it all together into the truck. Here's your big truck. This is Optimus Prime. And again, this does look like that... man, I wish I had looked up the name, and now I can't think of it. Sunrise Convoy is what I want to call him. But had the giant suit of armor that came out of his cab. And that's really what it looks like for the most part. This extra red piece here is a little weird from the top of his cab. It leaves this big open hole. And you can see that all the pieces that flip together don't tab exactly into place the way they should. The gun does fill this hole, so it's kind of awkward that, hey, there's a giant semi with a big gun on its back coming. But that does play a part in filling in that gap. And you do have spaces here. You can attach other guns. You can attach other, micro figs, some of those guys on there. So that's cool as far as, some of that stuff goes. You can't fold down the feet and open the back of the rig, but it does roll. So you can still treat it like a truck. And it does overall have the look of that G1 Optimus Prime, which is what I look for. Even though things don't always pop together in the best way possible, making the cab. And yeah, you do have some big hollow spots in there, and that's always going to happen on a lot of these guys. But, just keep that in mind. It's not perfect, but, I mean, for $50, $50 is a lot for a Transformer, but considering the size of this, that it's a much bigger one, then that is something to keep in mind. Because here, I know it's an unfair comparison, but if we compare it here to the Masterpiece Optimus Prime, you can see it actually looks pretty decent. Masterpiece Optimus Primes can go for quite a lot of money, and this one is a lot cheaper. Now, granted, it's not, like I said, it's an unfair comparison because it's not perfect. And the Masterpiece, those are always made to look fantastic. Those look like top dollar Transformers because that's what they are. So a lot of the accents, a lot of the shiny chrome stuff, a lot of that extra stuff looks so much better on the Masterpiece that's not on this one. But considering the size, and considering, that it does transform into Orion packs and the cab and everything, then it's, pretty good. And Orion packs here, when I first saw him, here I've got the arms on the correct way. But when I first saw him, I thought, man, he looks a little funky, he looks a little weird. But then I put him against the recent Headmaster version that we got. And you can see that this Orion Pax looks so much more like the character Orion Pax, the way he's been portrayed in the comics and stuff. The one we got with the Headmaster, I was, kind of happy with it when it came out. I didn't really think that much about it. It was just like, yeah, okay, he's got the blue legs, he's got the yellow accents on his chest, he's got the symbol in the middle, the blue windshield thing, whatever, the blue head. The head kind of looks like Optimus Prime. But here on Pax, the Pax does look better, even though on the back, you have those pieces of Prime. On the Headmaster one, you have these extra jet things, which look a little bit better as far as that goes. But the actual Orion Pax figure, I got to say, this one, while I gave it a hard time early on, does look a whole lot better in this lineup. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, and you're looking at whether or not you want to buy this one, yeah, it's not perfect. But very few Transformers are, especially ones that are not $150 or $100 or so on. It is cheaper. It is a better value. And you get more figures out of it. You're getting an Orion Pax, you're getting an Optimus Prime, and you're getting the giant tractor trailer. So all in all, I'd say it is a pretty cool buy. I am happy with it. This is definitely something that I have a lot of fun playing with. So for all of you guys, I know some of you, you really don't like the extra kibble once it's transformed and that extra stuff stands out in the back. And yeah, I don't really like that either. But most of the time when it's on display, you're not really going to notice that stuff anyway. And you probably didn't even notice, but that's him right here on the shelf. We got a Masterpiece over here. We got another Masterpiece back there. We got some G1s. He fits in just fine. Now, granted, it's a little fuzzy out of focus in the background of the shot, but, it looks decent back there. You don't even notice. And a better thing is when I go to display it, even though it's a giant cab, when it's in vehicle mode, in alt mode, all the pieces have a spot, which is great because you can't really see in this shot. Can you see in this shot? Yeah, you see I've got a bunch of cabs here. I've got the G1 guy standing up here. I've got a whole shelf at the bottom full of trailers that have no home. They're just, I can't do anything with them, so they're just kind of chucked down there at the bottom because they don't really have much of a purpose besides being the tractor trailer. So he's an all-in-one spot, and that's pretty cool. So that's going to do it for this week. However, next week, we are going to take a look at the Nemesis Prime, which is basically the same figure, just recolored, but he does come with some neat extras, stuff that this guy doesn't have. So Optimus Prime comes with his gun. Nemesis Prime comes with 2 guns and 2 swords. One of those swords is actually another Transformer that transforms into a bird. So we'll take a look at that next week here on Formers Friday. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Even though technically it is the same figure, there are enough small things that are different with it to make it stand out. Plus, I love those palette swaps. I know a lot of people don't like it when they just take one and redeco it and, hey, it's a new figure because now he's a different color. I've always liked that. I really have. I love it in Mortal Kombat. Scorpion and Sub-Zero, they're the same dude, just in different colors, but that's still cool. And I love it when they do it on some of these figures. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Again, don't hesitate to contact me. You can contact me on Twitter at PCN_dirt. You can send me an email, dirt@popculture.com, or you can comment on these videos. And in fact, I need your feedback. If you look on my channel, there's another video I did a few minutes ago, which was a test. This is a new computer, new setup, everything for the live streaming. And, I tested it. I wanted to make sure the stuff worked before I actually did the Formers Friday. But I've got a question for you fans who are Formers Friday fans. Because I know in the past, when I've done a Formers Friday, people have been less than enthusiastic about third-party figures, off-brand figures, things that are related to changing robots, but not specifically Hasbro, Takara, Transformers. So I want you to watch that video. Leave a comment on that video. Let me know what you think about, as we go forward doing some of these videos, can we expand a little bit? Talk about some of that other stuff? Or do I need to keep those as completely separate streams and do different toy reviews when I'm talking about stuff that isn't actual Hasbro, Takara, Transformers? So let me know, guys. Go watch that video. Leave a comment. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.